Hello, Jill here, and I'm going to talk today about where we left off on the last video for our nature collage collection journal. And where we left off was here. I had done the prepped the cover and talked about what I was going to do on the inside and the outside of the cover. So today I'm going to be showing you a little bit about what I decided on the inside cover, and then we'll go from there. Originally, I had said that this fabric, once I got it stitched, and you can see all the stitching on there. Yeah, it took me a while to do this, and I have another one to do for the front. I felt like the pattern of the papers was pretty, we have a lot going on, and somehow within this project, I felt that, I don't know, I felt it needed a stripe or polka dot or something. Polka dots didn't work, so I went with this stripe and then Cantha stitched the entire thing. Now, for the spine, I was going to do the spine covered in this material as well. You can see here. And then I would have stitched my signatures in and then attached it here and then glued these sides down. And as I looked at it, I remember that a half inch or a quarter inch between each signature, there's going to be a space where you're going to see this. And I just wasn't sure if that's how I wanted to do it or not. So I went back and I thought about it, and this is where I'm at today. And we're going to move forward from this point. Remember, what did they say about a woman's prerogative to change her mind? Well, it's not it's not so much that I changed my mind. I love this stripe. I'm going to use it. I'm just going to change how I assemble the book. And I thought, what could I put on this? And I started looking for fabric right away. And then I thought, wait a minute, I think I'm going to use why don't I use a paper out of the kit and just put it back there? And I decided on this one. Now, this is one of the ephemera pieces, but when I printed it extra large, one on a page, and it got big enough that I could put, see this news and notes down here? Look at this, it fits. Now, not that you're going to see that much of that. You're going to see very little, if any, but if you pay attention, it'll be there. I'll know it's there. In the meantime, that's exactly the center of this flower, which I thought would be real pretty in between the signatures. So my next step is I'm going to cover this with this paper, and then I'm going to start measuring to punch my holes to stitch this. And I'm going to use a pamphlet stitch, and I think I'm going to use a 5-hole pamphlet stitch because my pages are not all the same height. So I need to be sure to capture those within my stitching. So I'm going to cover this and do some measuring, and I'll be back. I am back, and so I have our spine ready. I have measured 5 places where I'm going to do 5-hole pamphlet stitch for each signature, like so. I'm going to start from the back and attach them to this spine. The threads will come through the back, which I'll show you later when I get it done, and then later they'll be invisible within the journal. I used a Japanese screw punch to make these holes. It makes them nice and round, makes them, there's no rough edges. I found I wasn't very good with an awl. I got rough edges, and then it wasn't smooth front and back, and I don't know, I just didn't like that. So I used that, and I finished making these holes. Then I took a piece of cardstock, and I made it the exact size of this, folded it in half, and then just lined this up, and then marked each of the center holes. And if I was lucky, those holes would end up on the fold. Now, did it land exactly on the fold? No, and you'll see in a minute. No, kind of went, and that's all right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each signature to the center page, the middle page. Where's my middle page? This is signature number 5. And bear with me 1 minute. Signature number 5. And I am going to be sure this is very tight. Find my clips. And I know I should use paper clips. I don't have them handy, so I'm going to use little binder clips. And you want to be sure, that this is very tight in the center. If you're lucky enough to have a bookbinding cradle, oh, wonderful, wonderful. I don't have one. So I just want to be sure that the centers are all where they're supposed to be. Then I will hook my pages together here. Oops. It's kind of hard. I'm not left-handed and I'm trying to put this binder clip on. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. And I will put one down here. Okay. Now that should hold those nice and that feels real firm in the center. Very, very good in the center. Then I will lay this in here, top to bottom. And I'm going to mark, because my pages are not quite as tall as my spine, as my book cover. Mark there, and there, and here, and here. And why do I mark those? So when I go to the next signature, I don't move my, I'll call this my template, and let's say down, and then my holes are off, so when the signatures go into my journal, then they wouldn't be even on the top. You know, they go up and down. So I'm going to then take my, line those holes up with the top, these holes down with the bottom. My Japanese screw punch. And you can see, I will poke that through. There's a lot of pages there, so I may have to do it a few more times. And there we go. And there we go. There's the first hole in the center. And you can see where it came out in the back. So I'm going to do those for each of these. I'm going to do this for each of the signatures. And when I come back again, I'm going to show you how I stitch in my 5-hole pamphlet stitch, how I stitch in my signatures. So hang in there, I'll be right back. Okay, I have all my signatures hole punched. I don't know if you can see that. I'll hold it up for you so you can see. They all have the 5-hole punch. And I'm going to begin stitching my signatures onto this spine, one at a time, starting from the back. So I'll be starting with signature number 5. I'll set these aside. This is my little bookbinding needle book that I made, and I keep bookbinding materials in it, needles, a couple of pins in case I need them, and my wax threads. So I have to pick a color for the wax thread, and the book is rather neutral and green. I don't have a greenish color, and it really doesn't matter because it's not going to show, but it is going to show inside the middle signature. So I think we'll use a nice light color. That's a little darker. This is thicker. These are wax threads, specifically for bookbinding. I don't like that color. I think this color here, it's a light beige compared to this, which is an off-white, but most of my signatures have some kind of inking on them. So I think I will use this. Now I'm going to start this process and then come back and I will show you how I do the the last signature. So bear with me for a couple more minutes and I will be right back. Here. That's the wrong one. This one here. I love putting my bindings together, my books together, and do the binding. I don't know why. It feels like it's finally coming together, you know. And I just love it. I just love it. Now, this whole part I've been doing with punching the holes, making the hidden spine, that's something you want to take some time with. I mean, you want to, don't rush. Don't rush. There's no hurry here. And if you rush, things could go badly. So your holes may be off, your signatures may be off. There's just so many things that can go wrong. And it's because I've done them wrong in the past that I know that. So you could say it's good for you to learn your own lessons. But if you can learn from mine, I am happy to let you know. Just take your time. Okay. So if you didn't catch my last signature when I was stitching it in, we're going from the back of the hidden spine. I hope my hands don't get in the way, and I'm trying not to put my head in there. It's hard to see that hole. Through to the center of the signature. Pull it through. Now I work toward the top. This is the top of my journal. And I go out through the next hole. This is how I do this 5-hole pamphlet stitch. And for those of you who are seasoned stitchers and know, or are bookbinders, and I'm doing this incorrectly or non-traditionally, forgive me, it's just how I do it. Now I want to close up these gaps. See, this one's I'll call it closed. This one's open, and this one's open. So I'm going to close the first one by going out through that hole again. Okay, and I just tug on it a little bit. Tug on that other one so those are nice and tight. Now, if you can see the back of the hidden spine, I'm going to jump down to this hole here. So I'm going to go across those and in toward the center this way. And pull my string through. Okay. And I'm going to go out through the bottom. Okay. Now, if we look at this, we have these 3 closed and this one is open. So how do we close that? We come back up here. We have to close this one on the back because when we're done, it's closed on every one in the front, in the middle of the spine, and every one on the back of the spine. Go through this center one to the back, and now make sure that you come up. This is the end of our thread, and this is the end with the needle threaded. Be sure you come up the other side of that center thread there. Now I want to go back into the middle of the spine and I want to check if these are tight enough. So I can come back here and you can see this one's loose. Okay, that one's this one here, so I can pull that tight. Where's my needle? I don't really need my needle anymore. And that one's tight now. Let me see. That one's still loose, but that one is actually the big, this long thread, so I can tighten it from here. And you can see they all pretty tight. Double knot, right over left, left over right. And I pull it pretty tight. Pull it pretty tight. Snip. Set this aside to be used later. Now, bear with me 1 minute because I do like to put my needles back. So those are expensive and I don't want to waste those. Put my threads back. So we're all ready to go the next time. come here. Okay. I made this little needle book specifically for bookbinding tools because I wanted to keep them all together. And when I go to bind a book, it's just so much easier to grab a little, you know, I suppose if you have them in a tin or a can or something like that, that's fine as well. It's just I know that I have a needle book for stitching and I know what they look like, so I don't have to go looking through little jars or anything like that. And there she is, all ready to go for the next time. And let's hope I don't have to take any of this apart or I'll have to be getting her back out again. So now we have the spines together. Let me do the pressing. Make sure the spine is nice and tight. Nothing's coming loose. I'm so happy with that. Look at that. Okay. And I'm going to take these binder clips off that were holding these pages. And we'll take a look. Oh, look at that. Isn't that nice? Nice and sturdy. 1/4 inch in between each signature. Some of the pages are shorter than others, so you know that's going to be, and we still have lots and lots of ephemera to put in here, and I'm not done doing the pages yet. I have some more pockets to do. But we'll go through this when we do the full flip through when I'm all done. So in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm going to be continuing working on this. And when I get ready, when I get the cover ready to do the, let's see what would be next. Let's go there and let's see what we're going to be doing. So this is our inside of our spine. I have to make sure that that material is stuck down. I am going to be gluing that with, again, with bookbinders glue, I think I'm going to use for that. And let me think. So now you'll see how this is going to go together. I'm going to leave this go clear across this, and then you'll see that this will fit right in here. And see that little bit of paper that shows? That's what I was talking about that you're going to see, and why I decided to go with a paper instead of, because it matches. Let me show you between each signature. I love it. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. Here we go. See how you can see that spine there between the signatures, and it matches the paper. I'm glad that we're doing that. Looks lovely. I just love it. And here's the last one, and then that'll be attached, and then our book will go together like this and like this, and that'll be the inside of our book. Now I'm still working on the outside of our book, as you can see there, and when I get a little farther along, I will come back. That's the end of this video. I'm going to wrap this up because this is sewing the signatures in, and then when I come back, we'll be looking at the cover and putting the cover on. Remember, on the front cover, this page is going to go on. I'm going to do something with this back here. Not sure what just yet. I am going to sew this on, and I believe I'm going to use my sewing machine rather than slow stitching, because I want to be sure that it's nice and permanent, and I'll be adding some more stitching to this, which won't matter because it's messy stitching anyway. So I hope you liked the video today. This is the wonderful journal coming together. I'm so excited, and I'm going to be so excited to show it to you when it's done. Have a great rest of your day. Do something you love, and come back often. Until the next time.